Hi you guys, I'm going to demonstrate one of my favorite dry flies to you. A lot of people know this fly by a trude. Most people know it by a stimulator. It's a great fly. It floats high in the water and the fish just go nuts for it. It kind of is a throw off of like a grasshopper. Late September, October, sometimes even in the springtime, if you can find some warm water, they'll think it's either a moth or a grasshopper type thing. Anyway, what I like to do is I'll lay my string over the top of the eyelet, and then I like to wrap it all, and I'll pull my tail end, my tag end right here. I'll pull it all the way down the shank of the hook, and then I like to wrap over the top of it just so that it has a real sturdy foundation. And I'll wrap right to where the shank of the hook starts to make its turn, and then clip off your tag end. Then the second thing you're going to do is, I like deer hair, and I always use deer hair that I harvest during the course of the year, and I shot this little buck this year and harvested him, and I like to try to make sure that I use everything off of something in the outdoors that I harvest. And it makes it kind of neat because you not only get to eat the meat, but then you get to use the rest of the animal to make homemade things. And so anyway, I'm making a tail right now. Basically, a rule of thumb with the tail is you want the tail to be about half the length of the shank of your hook. So you can see I'm measuring it, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to clip it off, and then I'm going to start tying. I'm going to make the first wrap fairly tight, kind of cinch it down, and then I'm going to try to wrap all the way forward and cover all the little hairs that are coming all over the place. So anyway, I've got that done. Then I'm going to take a really nice hackle. This is a Metz hackle, super nice hackle, and I'm going to pick off a fairly long hackle and just pull it right off there. And then I always clip the bottom of the hackle. And then, even though you're not going to use this for your next wrap, you still want to tie it on so that you can do your next wrap. So I'll go ahead and tie that on. And then a lot of people have trouble with dubbing, and one of the keys with dubbing, this is just egg yarn, cheap, works great, and most of your grasshoppers have some orange on them or some yellow. And anyway, what you're going to do is you're just going to take this and just kind of thread it off slowly with your fingers, put it on your string, and then you're just going to twist it. And you kind of want it fairly tight, so if you just wet your fingers just a teeny bit, and you'll get that nice twist on there. And I always like to think of the thorax of a fly, which thorax would come up to about midpoint in your shank again, and that's about where you want to end up with this dubbing, and that's going to be your body. So I've got my dubbing done. Now I'm just going to wrap my dubbing, and I'm going to try to make it as even as I can, and just a hair thicker right at the top, right about right there. And then just bring your string forward. Then you've got your hackle that you've already got on there, and what you want to do is, if you imagine a clock, and you imagine about 2 o'clock on your clock, and just try to get that angle at about 2 o'clock, and then you just wrap that forward. You're actually palmering it into your body, so you're going to palmer that in or wrap it forward, and then when you get to the end of your orange, your thorax, your body, then you're going to go ahead and wrap this hackle and tie it off. And then I clip this because we're going to use it again. So I've got that clipped off, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to make the wings on this. So you're back to your deer hair. So what you do is your wings are going to be a little bit longer than the body, about as long as the body. So I'll kind of measure that up there and clip it, and your wings, that's about as long as your body. And then I like to clean it up so it gives you a good nice tight wrap. So anyway, then what you're going to do, you're going to pinch these together pretty tight, and you're going to place that over, and you want that wing to come to about where the end of your tail is, and then you're going to pinch it with the opposite finger. And your first wrap again is pretty tight, and then you want to keep your string really tight during this whole process. And what I like to do is I'll wrap it around the front of it, and then I'll go back to the shank of my hook and wrap it. Then I'll come back to my wing and I'll wrap it, back to the shank, wrap it, and back to the wing and wrap it. And that makes it so that your wing's not going to roll on you. It's not going to spin over, and it's going to make your fly last a lot longer. So then after you get that done, you're going to you're going to want to take another hackle, and I like to use a little fatter hackle for the front of it. So as you can see, that's a pretty fat hackle right there. And I'm going to clip that off. And then you're going to tie that hackle on. And basically this gives the fly more floatability, and it makes your fly look pretty darn real. So you've got your hackle on there again, and then you'll go back to your orange dubbing, and you're not going to use very much. It's going to be a real thin wrap is all it's going to be. And you don't need that much of it, just enough to wrap from there to just below your eyelet. You don't want to crowd your knot. So you've got that dubbing on there, and again you try to kind of guesstimate how much you're going to need on there. And I was a little short that time, so I'll put a little more on. And you're going to wrap, and you're going to stop right before the head of your fly, just like that. Then you're going to take your hackle, and this is going to make this fly float really well, and it's going to look real. It gives it a lot of, if you've ever noticed grasshoppers, they have a lot of different little hairs and strands and stuff on them. And then what I like to do is wrap it really tight, and I'll keep wrapping it forward, and really fill that space in right there. And it's going to make this fly float good, so that not only fish can see it, but us fishermen can see it. So once you've got that done, you're going to come up to the top, and you're going to tie that off and clip it. And then what I really like to do is put a half hitch on it. So you'll take your fingers, grab the line, turn it over, and then slide that around your eyelet just like that. And then you can use a whip finish tool. I learned how to do a whip finish just with my hands, and it's a lot quicker, and it's basically the same thing. So you're going to put your two fingers over that line, pull your line back over to it so it creates a circle, and then you just roll your fingers like that, and then you're going to just put it around there. And I like to do it about 3 or 4 times, and every time you do that you want to roll your fingers. And it's called a whip finish, and it actually, like, I've done it about 6 or 7 times, and it gives you seven little ties, just kind of like a half hitch. Once you get it, I like to pull it back and forth a couple times and then clip it off. And then there you have your stimulator, and it's a wonderful fly. Catches a ton of fish. It's easy to tie, and it saves you about $1.50 to $2 from buying it in a fly shop. And anyway, that's the best way to tie a stimulator, and I'm going to use that fly tomorrow to catch some fish. So anyway, hope you guys like this video. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos, some different flies and some different knots and ties here on YouTube, and then I'm going to demonstrate how to use them and where to use them. And anyways, I hope you like this fly pattern, you guys. And here's a bunch more that I've tied earlier. Hopefully you guys can see those. But pretty good collection. I'm going for about an hour sitting here tying, and save myself about 20 bucks. Anyway, big smiles. You guys have a nice day, and I hope you like my stimulator pattern. Okay, have a nice day, guys. Bye.